Good evening, I'm Tina. In this video, we will talk about the expression language, and this is kind of like a introduction video about expression language in JSP, and we might have 4 or 5 more about expression language used in JSP, okay? And the techniques we learned so far actually can build a good, actually can be used to build a servlet application. And why do we need to learn another language? Okay, expression language. Why do we need to learn? So we have at least 2 reasons here, because we have to think about why shouldn't we use scriptlets and JSP expressions in JSP. So first reason I list here is the intention of JSP. Why do we create it, or why do the Java guys create JSP this type? At the beginning, when we learned servlets, and if we want to display a HTML page if we want to send HTML page back to the browser in the response object, we have to using the print writer or outstream to write all the HTML tags and the different tags and the values and the content and the CSS, everything inside the do get or do post. Do post is not a good way. A do get method, right? Using out.print or using out.write to have all the HTML head, body, and those strings inside this servlet do get or other do methods, and which creates lots of a problem, which can be an issue when our page gets longer and we have to work on the concatenation and on those strings. It's time consuming and error prone, and it's not easy to maintain. And that's why we separate those HTML element, okay, or HTML strings from servlet. We moved them into JSP. So the intention of JSP is designed for the presentation layer as the view, okay, which is what's gonna be displayed on the page. And when we're using scriptlets and Java expressions, that means in our JSP, it can have some logic. Okay, it have a Java code on that. It's not only for the view. Okay, this is one. Okay, if we use a lot of scriptlets and JSP expressions in JSP, it's kind of like goes back to the servlets. Our servlet supposed to be the logic, business logic, and now it contains the code related to the view. And suppose we use a lot of scriptlets and JSP expressions in JSP. It's kind of like our view, which is JSP, contains lots of servlets code, like business logic. So it's against our intention of the creation of JSP, okay? This is one. Second one is normally the developers and the website designers are different teams, and different people do different tasks. And for the web designers, they are familiar with HTML, they are familiar with CSS, and also familiar with JavaScript. But they don't understand the code, which I have some example below, which is scriptlet, like a page context.set attribute and the request get attribute. And also another example here is JSP expression, which is using like equals weather, like a paragraph weather, and here have some expression. Okay, we at least 3 examples here for JSP expression, because the web designer don't understand And when you ask them to fix something, they might feel very difficult to understand the code, and they feel it's we cannot fix the issue because I don't understand the code you are written. Okay, that's the two main points I list here why we shouldn't using Scriptlets and JSP expression in JSP. Okay, and there are other reasons. The next one is expression language in JSP, and I will compare later for you guys. Okay, so the EL, okay, simplifies the accessibility of data stored in the Java Bean component and add object like request, session, and application. Suppose in your servlet, you set some attribute in request, session, and application scope. Previously, you can using Scriptlet or you can using expression to display the values on the page. And EL expression can do exactly the same thing. Before EL expression, it also has something called Java actions, JSP actions. I regret that. I should talk about JSP actions first. Okay, I was thinking I can talk JSP action and JSTL together, but actually it's better to talk JSP action first. But anyway, I already created several videos related to talk about JSP action in the future. Okay, here I don't know why I'm using the Keynote. Okay, for Keynote I searched online. It seems I can during the presentation I cannot highlight some content in during the presentation. I searched, but I haven't mastered that piece. I feel personally so far I feel PowerPoint is easier. Anyway, here in the first sentence, you see the Java Bean component, right? This one is related to Java action, okay? Sorry, because of my mistake, I cannot show you. You probably don't understand now. But in the future lecture, when I talk about Java JSP action, I will let you know what is Java Bean component, okay? Sorry for that. And also in expression language, it also has some implicit objects and operators and reserved words. You can use them if you want. And the JSP, as some experienced programmers, they know, okay, JSP is not popular anymore. Unfortunately, I also need to introduce, and from here you already see JSP, the EL expression language is introduced in JSP 2.0, and our the latest version of JSP is Jakarta EE, Jakarta Servlet 5. Okay, actually, even though the JSP is not popular, but it's still being used. Otherwise, why those guys still maintain JSP? Why the specification still kind of like updated, right? So it must have some place we use that, okay, but not popular, definitely. And here we have to be careful. JSP technology, expression language is added in JSP 2.0. Here you have to be careful because expression language, if you are using JSP, the version is 2.5 and lower, the expression language is disabled by default in JSP. So you have to turn on, okay, in every page by yourself. And if you are using version like a 3.0 and higher, the expression language by default is true, which is enabled, so you don't need to turn on in every JSP. So be careful, especially when you have a web.xml, and if you have a version 2.5, you will see your expression language by default doesn't work. Okay, in that way you can change the version to be higher. Okay, So the syntax of expression language is like below $, and you have brace expression. And this will be somewhat to help to prove, okay? The second statement help web designers to understand the code. See here the expression, the syntax for EL. It looks like JavaScript, right? Because the expression language in JSP actually inspired by JavaScript, which is ECMAScript, and most of the web designers understand JavaScript. That's why when we're using EL in JSP, it's kind of like a help web designers to understand the code. Okay, so that's it for our introduction about expression language. And next video, I'm gonna show you a simple demo to give you a test of how expression language simplifies our code. Okay, thank you for watching, and see you in next video. Bye bye.